Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today we're trying to start a new career mode. So I'm just starting off here with a small little craft. Sped the video up a little bit here. I think it's only double, 2 times. But that's just a small little solid booster rocket. I put 4 little goob things on it for some science, along with some fins, just to give a little extra control. Right now I'm trying to decide if I want to use that re-entry module or just a standard crew module. But you'll actually see here in a moment I do decide to switch back to the crew module. Alrighty. Yeah, so as you can see I did go ahead and switch back to the command module instead of the re-entry module. Now I did quick save and we're gonna launch it. But first I wanted to get some goob sample observation at ground level. And let's just do a quick EVA here to get the EVA report. And I think I climbed back in, did a crew report, and then recovered, yep. So just some quick science while on the launch pad. And now we're going to go back to the vehicle and change my crew back out for, I think that says Bob the scientist, or Bill, whichever one the scientist is. And we're going to launch it again. So try an EVA, see if I got different results or anything with the scientist, but I didn't. So now I'm just launching it and taking some samples up in the air. Very high thrust to weight ratio, but not a very long burn time. But just quick goob sample there. Get that science, and now I'm getting that crew report up in the air. A little more science there, and then we're just gonna get another goob sample, so I'm higher up now. And we're gonna let it fall back down, activate the parachutes, and it does its little wrong way down, as it always does for me. Getting some more science on the way down for those goo, and hopefully it comes back over. There we go. And what do you know, we're landing like right next to the runway. And we're back down. Getting that EVA in, or crew report I think. Whole bunch of science here. And now let's get some research. I got the basic rocketry and that engineering, and bigger rockets are always important, so I got that. Control, and I got a whole bunch of science, so I just did all 3 of those. Now I go back and I think I thought maybe I would try these winglets, see if maybe they had a control surface. So as you see, I'll hit launch to just see if Or no. I decided not to reuse the fully solid rocket booster, and now I am building a larger rocket. This time I decided I probably needed a heat shield and a decoupler, and could always have more fuel. So I put a whole bunch of fuel tanks on there and went with the swivel because I like to be able to control my rockets. And right now I'm looking at adding some solid rocket boosters because, once again, more power the better. Which I decided that would not look right, so I added a few more fuel tanks. Which, that's one thing you'll see a lot with me. I'll always go for more power, the better. So right now I'm adding the thermometer and barometer along with the goo, get some additional science. Adding multiples of them just so that I get it on different points of the flight. And let's see here. Now we're trying to decide what I want to do next. Which we're gonna go ahead and save it and launch it. Oh wait, I have to upgrade my runway because I built too big of a ship. Oh well, that's no problem here. I've got plenty of money from the first flight. And I think I went ahead and upgraded my VAB also. So now I'll hit save and launch it. And then I just realized I was still using Bob and wanted to go back to Jeb because, once again, control is awesome. Now let's launch this thing for real this time. Very high thrust to weight ratio. We're getting up there real fast. I was a little bit worried when I did this that the swivel wouldn't have enough thrust to weight ratio to keep this thing accelerating, but as I'm noticing here, it did have plenty of thrust to weight ratio. And we're already past 40,000. So being an inexperienced rocket person here, I kind of just went straight up and forgot to do the gravity turn. But no worries, I'll just burn now and get that coming out a little bit. Get the periapsis increasing and see where we're at on the map. We definitely went pretty high. So now I'm just burning out to apoapsis, which it turns out I actually went a little too far here. And as we'll see here in a little bit, I actually was not able to get the periapsis in orbit, I believe. So I'm burning now, watching my fuel, trying to figure out if I'll actually have enough or not. But as you can see, it's getting very low. And we're just about out of fuel. Well, the game thinks we have orbit, but we do not have above the atmosphere. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some science while we're up here in orbit. And then thought about doing EVA, but I have not upgraded mission control enough yet. So we'll get a little more science, crew report I believe. And then rotate around and look at the map. And now I've realized I'm starting to burn up and pretty much panic here. And well, now I'm realizing that I'm going way too fast for even my heat shield. So I drew a tumble to try and mitigate explosions, which, as you can see, does not go well. And at this point, I've just lost all of my science. So I end up actually just reverting the fight. Yep, just reverting back to vehicle assembly building. Adding an extra heat shield, because I always find that if you just double them up with a little gap, so it looks like that, it gives you much better, it'll actually like protect the goo and stuff on the sides. So I ran out of fuel there, so I'm adding more fuel. And because I added more fuel, I apparently decided I needed a higher thrust to weight ratio. And a little stability with the fins. Let's launch this again. And as you can see, my computer really does not like all these parts. I'm not running a very high-end computer. It's just Intel 9700K and AMD RX 5700. So things are going a little south here. I seem to be spinning, and I never noticed those little decoupler studs sticking out of the fuel tanks after decoupling. So I was just looking in there to see what those were. And now I'm warping back up to my apoapsis. Stopping it a little bit earlier this time, I believe. Maybe. Yep, we went ahead and stopped the time warp. Man, we got a lot of height, up to 150,000 already. So now I'm just angling to do a prograde burn to stabilize my orbit. So we'll just burn like this for a little while, get my horizontal velocity up high enough for stable orbit. Still watching the fuel because I'm not sure yet if I have enough. But yeah, so back to my computer, it has a decent CPU, a decent GPU, but I do have amazing RAM. I've got 32 gigabytes of, I think, like 4,000 mega transfers per second, maybe 3,600. I don't remember exactly, but it's definitely good RAM. And a lot of it. So as you can see, frame rate is struggling a little bit here. But now that I've got my orbit stabilized, I'm just getting some science here. And I've successfully made it to orbit. So, or have I? Not entirely sure what happened there. So I think I'm going to burn retrograde and try and get an actual orbit. Maybe? Yeah, so I turned on the engine a little bit to help it get aligned for a retrograde burn, and now we're full power. Bringing the apoapsis back down to an actual orbit. However, I think in the process, I might have dropped No, my periapsis is good still too. Okay. So yeah, now we've got a nice orbit. Which... apparently I decided that wasn't a nice orbit. Oh, I think I ran out of fuel. That's what happened. So I wasn't able to go back, so I reverted. And we're doing this again. Very fast launch. Already passing 10,000. I should be doing a gravity turn, but I'm noob and not doing that. And as you can see, I got things a little hot here, so I saved some fuel and waited a minute. And now we're burning horizontally a little bit to start extending the periapsis. Now we're just going to time warp up to a little closer to apoapsis before we do another burn. Yep, there's the next burn. So we're going to stabilize my orbit now. And in a little while here we'll be in a stable orbit. Once again, I think all of these clips and launches I've sped up to about 2 times. Just didn't want to give you guys a 40-minute video. So I'm keeping it down closer to 20 minutes. But right now I've got my periapsis going positive, and it is stable orbit, I think around 75 kilometers on the periapsis. So we'll once again get a whole bunch of science while we're up here. Check my orbit. It's actually a very elliptical orbit. I mean, not circular, not elliptical. And we're just gonna do some time warp around here. Just figured out why not. Sped it up a lot there. Let's give Jeb some extra time and space. See if we get any extra points for that. And now I'm aligning for a retrograde burn. Bring it back down. Okay, periapsis is going to have me crash landing now. Of course, it's going to be on the night side, I think. And I've just been using SAS on the retrograde. Burning again because I don't want to land on land. Maybe I do want to land on land. Not entirely sure why I burned again, but I burned again, bringing my periapsis even down sooner. And now we're just time warping to around when I enter the atmosphere. Because I'm going to use the last bit of the fuel to slow me down for my descent. And once that's out, we'll jettison the fuel tanks. Yep, there go the fuel tanks. Get some science up here in the top stages of the atmosphere. Prepare for the parachutes to deploy. There's some heat, although we're not going too fast, so yep, easy peasy. Parachutes will deploy here. There they are. And we're just coming down nice and slow. Oh, and we blew up that fuel tanks. Can hear them in the distance. Okay. Now time warped a little bit, speed things up here. And slowed it down just before touchdown. Nice gentle touchdown, no explosions. Get a little goob since we're not back at the launch center. Check the thermometer, barometer, EVA. Just getting all the signs I possibly can. And we're going to recover it. And that is going to be it for today. Please like, subscribe, share it, and have a wonderful day.